Hi, welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. We're going to take another swing at this three-chord rocker. It's DCG. Used this backing track a couple of days ago for a lesson that a lot of folks have commented on and had some fun with, it sounds like. And on that one, I used the 335 and kind of a cleaner sound and more of a kind of a jangly, threw a lot of rhythm licks in with the pentatonic stuff. And it was more of a 60s kind of early Dead or CCR kind of tone and stuff. And that was cool. But you can, when you change your tone and switch to a different guitar and stuff, it really, influences how you're going to play and changes the style of it. It does for me. So I wish I had my Strat. It's still being worked on. This would have, I think, this was definitely a Strat solo, what I just played there in the intro, in my view. But the Tele came through in a jam again. Right. We're going to jump right in here. We warm up with the chords. Then I'm going to play a little, of the major pentatonic, a little bit of the minor pentatonic. And then the thing that we're really going to add today is a little bit of that diatonic feel, like some note sequences from like D Mixolydian. Get a little bit of that modal sound mixed in there with the pentatonic stuff. And maybe sounds a little bit more classic 70s style. We'll see how it comes out. So, warming up. Just, I know everybody wants to get to the licks, and I do too when I'm watching videos and stuff, but, it helps to take that minute or so to just major pentatonic. Okay. I really like taking off with the major. Okay, so what's going on there? What was I doing there? I took off with the major. Yeah. Hit that E there. Just little side notes here. You don't have to, pick all this apart and analyze all of it. But, a little bit of that. Hit that fifth of that C on the way down there just for a little flavor. Then when it goes down to the G, I'm just going up and playing some kind of blues type licks, or at least in that shape of that blues scale of that minor pentatonic up here. And that's just a little routine that you can get into right away, right? You can switch it around. You can do the reverse too. But when you dedicate one of the scales to one part of the progression and another to the other, it just sets you up to have diversity right away. Okay. Now there, I'll give you a little preview of the Mixolydian thing. So there I had all three things that I'd mentioned just a few moments ago, right? Some major pentatonic, some minor, and then some. There's more notes in that last little couple of segments, right? And that's what I'm really going to add for you today. I'm not just blowing by the major pentatonic stuff. I'll show you some licks and more of a routine here. But, if you use some of your basic skills that you already have going on with your pentatonic stuff, that's what this is really about. It's helping you map and chunk out the order that you're going to use things that you're already somewhat familiar with, right? If you're very familiar with these scales and note sequences, then you just challenge yourself to come up with more interesting arrangements of how to switch in and out of them and stuff. Okay, so there's something here for everybody. Now let's look at this Mixolydian for a second. There's a lot of videos on this channel that talk about Mixolydian and what it is and show diagrams for it and stuff. So there's, I think in the modal playing playlist on the channel, there's just gobs of videos on those, and they're labeled, specifically. So if you want to or need to, get in there and kind of brush up on those. But if you're somewhat familiar with Mixolydian, it's like a major scale with a flatted seventh. That's one way to describe it. You just want to get really used to that sound, that flatted seventh sound. Such an important thing in rock and other popular styles too for guitar. Certainly all rock material. Now, another way to look at it, just real quick, is the scale sequence that's built off the fifth tone in a major key. Now, that takes a little bit more unpacking, and we're not going to go through that whole explanation right now. But that's worth looking into also. If that doesn't mean much to you, what I just said, for where you are right now with that, don't worry about it. But there is a rhyme and a reason in a very neat and elegant way that all of these scales and modes are derived out of a key, okay? And that's kind of another pursuit that you can take up if you think that will help you and you're interested in that. You're going to be able to use the things I'm about to show you regardless of your, testing out on the theory of them or whatever, right? So here's how some of this can look. In that intro, I used a couple of note sequences. I guess we could call them licks, but they're really just sequences. They're just examples of kind of patterns that you can make simple melodies and lines with that work very simply, but sound really cool. So one of them was, okay, let me slow that down. Now, if you map out that D Mixolydian up here in this position, that's all the notes that I'm playing there are in that sequence. They're in that scale. Now, I pick certain regions of the scale because it happens to end on a lot of chord tones and stuff that are going to work out for you. But by all means, you can take that motif, it's called, that cadence, that rhythmic pattern, and the idea of the stepping up and down, and play that in, in all kinds of different locations and different portions of a scale, right? But let me show you what I mean, just in more of a demonstration way. If I play. Okay, so earlier we made a routine out of playing, some major pentatonic stuff down here over the D, and then going up and playing some minor pentatonic stuff up here over the G. And we mentioned that you could swap those out or mix them up, and after a while you don't do them the exact back and forth alternating, right? But it's a good place to start. So in this little routine, I did some simple major pentatonic stuff down here over the D. And when I got to the G, I did the and if you do it where I'm showing you right there, it'll land. You'll know it when it fits in there, right? And then you'll be able to kind of, like I said, take that idea and expand on it and kind of multiply it into different places and stuff. So it's something that you can do that instead of trying to run the whole scale up and down for practice, you've just got these phrases or portions of the note sequence that you can really make more musical, more readily, I think. Another one was, let's see, what did I do? Okay. Now there, I'm skipping the seventh because if I did all the notes, if I included all the notes in that scale, and you could do that. I just like that skipping that. Right, that's sort of a journey type, lick right there. Um, and again, just the short, the segment aspect of it, of kind of carving out part of the scale and making a sequence like that, I think helps you to kind of internalize what the Mixolydian's really about more than just kind of running the scale. So here's using that same routine: major pentatonic over the D, the Mixolydian sequences over the G. I'll just do another little demonstration. Now, I did something different there, and I'm doing this in real time. So sometimes I say something and then I just do something else. I did. Did you see what happened? I mainly did what I said I was going to do, but I did a major pentatonic over here the first time around. Then I did do the. But the second time I did more of a minor pentatonic lick up here. Okay. So, at first, don't worry about trying to put together the whole, arrangement of everything. You can just get in there and mess around with that Mixolydian part. Okay, there is just, a little look ahead of when you start to kind of just expand it out and use more of the, fill out more of the position that you're in. But that feeling, it'll feel repetitive because I'm kind of playing the same rhythmic thing, but I'm doing that, I'm letting that be today. I'm not picking on that and judging that today because, you want that feeling of, not having to worry. You can't worry about every aspect of your playing all at once, right? So this is the part where we get some of these sequences under our fingers. Then later on, we can, stylize it more and kind of stretch out some of the notes and make the phrasing more interesting and put more rests in and things. Don't judge that. If it feels like you're kind of, playing the same rhythmic stuff, that's okay. That's a good thing, really, because it means that you're really your hand and your body is really learning the sequences, right? And you're able to just kind of lock in like that. That's a good thing. One more thing, and then we'll get you to the practice loop. And that is just back to the pentatonic stuff. Depending on where you're at with your pentatonic memorization and just use of these scales, you can stay just right in this kind of sweet spot on both of these positions. Okay, and that sweet spot for me, what I feel is the real heart of it is that D and G string, those two adjacent strings. Both of them utilize the bending of that G string, very, very strongly. Okay. The minor pentatonic, you can also do a little bit more of that crossroads, that So I'm going down from you really want to have that under your fingers. That is an essential rock blues lick. And you just throw that in there, and then you'll get into some more of your bends. And that sort of thing. Look at the blues part of the playlist, part of the channel, for more stuff about the minor pentatonic and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to show that in there, show that to you, because when you put that in there, that can be, you want a few things going on where you can really mix it up with, a handful of these ideas, and you'll have a pretty interesting routine and sound going pretty quickly. So real quick, I'll just demonstrate a little bit of this, putting it all together here, and then I'll get you to the practice loop. Appreciate you. Let me know how it goes.